Hello.
Yo, welcome back.
Sorry about that.
All good, all good. Any plans for your winter?
My winter?
Yeah.
It's not a winter where I live.
Oh, I guess, but
It is it is like summer all year round.
Yeah, you did tell
Uh
me that you've never had like a white Christmas the most snow you've seen is from a snow machine or something, right?
yeah, never had a white Christmas. So I guess that's not gonna change this year. I'll be in Singapore still. No real plans actually. I know a bunch of the people in the studio are taking a bit of a break, but that's not the case for me. There will be a few others who are going to stick around, like Nayef. So
Hmm.
I'll be chilling with him virtually in the studio, I guess.
Yeah, I'll be
What
over in
about you?
Philly,
You going anywhere?
mainly with my cousins. We all like gather at their place, and there's like 30 people or 40 people, like my whole family and
Okay.
everyone. So it's a lot.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, and it usually snows like a lot here, but it's just there's no snow at all lately. It's just rain, really cold rain. It's crazy. Usually it'll snow by last month, but it's like mid December. There's no snow.
Are you still in Omaha?
Close to it, close to it.
Oh yeah, sweet man.
Yeah. So let's get the ball rolling. So just make some introductions. Derp Turtle or Tyler. I'm the community manager of Nyan Heroes, and I'm gonna shoot over to Max.
Hello, hello. I'm Max. I'm the founder of Nyan Heroes.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. But let's just step into our first topic, and we'd love to know more about any studio updates and what the studio has been focusing on.
Yeah, I guess there's a bunch of things that um, I was planning on discussing today, and I guess it's pretty well. Let's just be completely honest and frank. It's pretty obvious. The state of the markets. That this is like um, it's the end of the year. We've just been in like probably a year long bear market in crypto, right? So let's just get that elephant off the table, and that is why I think a lot of projects, including Nine Heroes, but across the board, community activity, everything is just dying down. And so, we have a handful of people here. Thank you guys for being here. But this is quite different from what it was, say, a year ago, right? I think we were in the range of what 150 plus or something like that in most of these like AMAs and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, got to be real. It's been a pretty crazy year, and to thank you guys for sticking around. This is probably going to be the final town hall, Nine Heroes town hall for 2022, and yeah, it's been a long year, and it hasn't been easy. So I wanted to take some time today just to reflect on everything that's happened in the studio and kind of do like a yearly recap, I guess. And at the end, there's only a handful of people here, so we can just talk and we can just chat and we can just be real. So yeah, markets in general, bear season. Yeah, obviously. There's been a ton of individuals and institutions we're all aware that have just been completely wrecked and
Hmm.
wiped out, right? Like, you'd have to be living under a rock if you weren't aware of that over the past 12 months, right?
I think people under
Started
the rock even know what's happening.
probably they've heard, right? They've been dialed in, right? So like Luna, Three Arrows, Celsius, BlockFi, FTX, Genesis. It's just like the list goes on. There's so many big name institutions in that mix, And well, I don't know about you guys, but I saw it unfold right in front of my eyes, and a lot of our team did as well. I'm sure Dope saw it happening as well, and all of this stuff just it imploded literally. It things seemed fine one day, and then 3 days later, it was just gone. And it still feels a little surreal at this point, just thinking about it. The extent to which things blew up. So yeah, it's just been a crazy year all year round. But on the bright side of things, I'm happy to reiterate that we at Nyan Heroes have remained largely unaffected by all of that noise in the markets. As a business, we've always held our assets in our own custody. We never held any assets on exchanges. We also never took out any loans, put up collateral that eventually would probably be liquidated if we had. And we never tried to farm for sort of degen yields. So the fact that we're still around and kicking when so many others, including our peers, are not, is actually pretty remarkable. And that applies to everyone here as well as individuals too. So the fact that you're still around means that technically you've outperformed some of the biggest institutions in the world. And so now at this point, the only thing you need to do to win is actually just to survive. The winners are the people that survive the bear markets. Don't know if any of you guys were around in 2016, 2017. I certainly was. And the 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 only way to survive and win was just to stick around and don't give up, because these are the times that really do kind of test the projects that aren't really there for the long term. So yeah, I guess it's a again just a bit of a reminder to us all that these things, there are bull markets, there are bear markets, and unfortunately the last year has just been a massive bear market. So yeah, personal takeaways for 2022. Number one, things are never too big to fail. No matter what anyone else says, what your friends are telling you, yeah, they're never too big to fail. I think number two, what we've seen, especially on crypto Twitter, if any of you guys are around, that is that arrogance or pride is often the precursor to failure or destruction. So keep that in mind. We've seen the arrogance around. It just seems like a disaster waiting to happen. Number three, I would say never trust, always verify, particularly when it comes to your personal assets. And last but not least, I think for me, at least personally, is just to remember your roots and where you came from. Be appreciative and thankful, never take things for granted, and be good to the people around you. Those are my 2022 sort of key takeaways. So yeah. Anything you want to add, Derp, to 2022? How's your personal journey through the year?
It was really good in the beginning, and then it kind of went downhill. Like you said, you really got to like stick to your guns and survive and like hold true. Yeah, so yeah, all the projects, including Nyan Heroes, like that I'm like invested in and very excited for. I'm just following for updates, making sure like what you said, verifying that things are happening, and that the true winners stick out past this and are able to survive, just like you said.
Mm-hmm. I remember the other day we were chatting. You said also that this has just been like a massive learning experience for you as well, right? Like just being in the space and seeing everything that's going down. You've learned a lot about the space, but also about yourself that you'll take into the future, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like the market, the NFT market, especially in the beginning of the year, was completely different, and then slowly, people kind of diverged to certain metas or certain um, strategies in other projects that applied, and then it just constantly evolves over time on what's the newest and biggest thing that like catches everyone's eye. There's the pixel meta, and then it became like utility a bit, and then right now it's just very it's I'm uncertain at this point at the moment in the bear market because so many projects are hit or miss at the moment, and
Mhm.
not a lot are surviving. Some of the communities aren't as thriving as they used to be. Um, but hopefully this next coming year things are will look better. We'll be stronger as a Web3 community and everything.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a lot of metas, or I like to call them fads,
Oh, fat. Yeah,
that
that's true.
kind
Same
of
thing. Yeah.
came and went. And if you're just following fads and there's nothing else, then it's kind of difficult, because once the fad is gone and passes away, there's very little substance. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
um. So anyway, hopefully, if nothing else, a good learning experience for everyone. Being here in the space. We're probably many years down the track. We're gonna reference 2021, 2022 as hey, one of the moments where we stuck through and we made it. So with that said, I want to move on and update you guys on some agenda items moving forward into 2023. First thing, want to discuss the Nyan Heroes studio direction, and then I want to talk about some key milestones for 2023 that we have in the pipeline, and then also just make a comment and maybe some predictions about the state of blockchain gaming in 2023. So those are the things I want to cover. So the first thing is studio direction. So as I mentioned, it is true that we were not directly affected by the market crash in crypto that we've seen at a treasury level, because we're very conservative in our treasury management. But we are a business and a young business, and we are operating within the greater context of the market environment. And so basically, we have been, I guess, indirectly affected by the state of the macro economy and the long-term implications that the economy has on things like inflation, interest rates, but also venture funding for startups. So, as a young business, relatively young, we have to be mindful and prepared for the possibility of an extended bear market in both crypto and equities, or perhaps even a full-blown recession. And so because of this, we've had to make some adjustments to our studio structure and scope, mostly to ensure that our runway will be able to take us well into 2024, because we don't know how long this is all going to last. And so because of this, we've had to consolidate some roles within the studio itself. And we've also had to let go of some roles as well, around 8 positions. So it's looking like we'll probably end 2022 with a studio headcount of around 55 team members. But having said that, we'll still be hiring next year. We still have some open roles, open positions to fill, and we do still intend on growing, albeit at a more conservative pace. And so some of the consolidated roles that have occurred within the studio have resulted in promotions within the studio. So I guess it's a good time to update some of the movements within the studio. So you guys might remember our design director as a lovely chap by the name of Haluk. He's now our game director, and he will oversee many more aspects of game development and also help to define and, more importantly, focus the game direction moving into 2023. We have another chap, English guy, John Walsh. He's mostly been operating under the radar and has only been around for about sort of 3 to 4 months. But he will actually take up a new position as our development director. He's very good. He's very driven and he's very focused. And so he will be responsible for ensuring that the things that we have on our pipelines are delivered on time. And we also have a new incoming art director. He's a gentleman called Saeed. He has 15 years of experience, worked at EA, DICE, Jagex, on titles like Battlefield Heroes and Mirror's Edge. And so he'll be helping us to further define our art style and, more specifically and more importantly, help us focus it, which is the theme of the studio in 2023. So I guess those are some of the points that mostly wrap up our studio updates. And next up, I wanted to cover some key milestones for 2023 to look out for. So the first one is in Q1 2023, we're actually going to be targeting the end of Q1 for a private demo release. This is going to be quite a condensed version of the game, and it's not going to be a forward-facing demo or one that we're sort of going to be sharing officially on public channels. Although I will make it a point to see if I can share some small snippets of it if I'm allowed to by the marketing team. But basically, yeah, this this private demo is basically a build that we're going to be making for preparation for GDC. And so for you guys that don't know, GDC is sort of games conference in March 20th. 2023. It's going to be held in San Fran, where the Nyan team will actually be making their first appearance at a official sort of games conference. So that's very exciting. So yeah, we'll be going out with this build, and hopefully we'll be able to showcase it and help network and meet other developers and traditional game development partners in the space through that. And hopefully winning over some fans with our cats and mechs. So that's the first, I guess, key milestone. The other milestones for 2023 are going to be our first playable pre-alpha, as well as our alpha launch. So these are going to be more forward-facing. And we will actually have a group of early play testers and users. So maybe that'll be you guys. So when the time comes up for that, please keep an eye out on our socials and our Discord channel. We hope to be able to send out like a pre-registration link or something like that, so that people can opt in to be part of that early user testing group. So that'll be pretty exciting. In terms of I think predictions or trends for 2023. I think the market's going to remain muted over the next year. And what that means for a lot of Web3 games builders is that we'll probably see a slowdown in the space. And in fact, I think a lot of startups that raised in 2021 or late 2022 may even run out of runway for 2023, as they don't have as much flexibility to pivot, for example. So I think the studios that do survive will focus away from sort of pure blockchain yield generating incentives and design to more thoughtful, sort of fun game design systems, which is already happening in the space, actually. I think there will probably be a period of testing and experimentation to find the right product market fit for blockchain gaming, because as of yet we haven't seen a sustainable use case of it. We've seen some hypes, hype markets and hype products, but nothing so far that has proven the test of time. And so I think also with that, what Dope was mentioning earlier is that there's going to be less hype-based and fad-based projects. And I think a lot more thoughtful builders are going to be building for the long term. I do think that towards the second half of 2023 or the end of 2023, there will be some projects out there who have a potential breakout moment. They've been working behind the scenes and they've developed a truly unique use case for Web3 gaming that isn't just about the yield, is able to find the fun in the game design, and also at the same time drive value to its community. I think this is something that hopefully will happen towards the end of 2023. Maybe that'll be us. Who knows? And the great thing about games is that if that does happen, as long as the product is good, it will generally decouple from the rest of the economy, and hopefully, it'll be that kind of Axie Infinity moment 2.0. So, yeah, those are some of my updates from the studio side of things. What we're hoping to do in 2023. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate your time. Big shout out to the Nyan team as well. We have a ton of people in the team that have been here for 1 year plus, which is awesome. And I know the team is busy working on some last minute projects before the holiday season, and we will be closing our studio over the holiday season. So, thank you guys for being awesome and working as hard as you have for the last year or so. And to all of you guys, thanks for being around and happy holidays. And we're very much looking forward to 2023 and seeing all of you guys there as well.
Thank you for your insight and thank you for your appreciation, Max. Definitely agree with you on a lot of the state of the Web3 and what's to come. Like the truly high quality projects that are down and building will be the ones that will eventually shine in Web3. And I want to reiterate what we've said in the past, but game development is a lot of work and it takes a lot of time to make true high quality game. Not like some of these staking Web3 games or like these like 2D side fighting games, but that I've seen in the past year that kind of just crumbled, and the people's interest is lost in those. But yeah, I really appreciate it. We can move on to some of the questions that were asked from the community. Um, right afterwards, though, we'll open the floor up to you guys and let you guys ask any questions that you may have want to ask personally with our team or Max here. But our first one was, how do you plan to enhance the game experience over time so that there will be updates over time when the game is released? So do we have any game plan for that?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely something that we've been planning as part of the entire studio plans. You know, we've always intended on releasing like a live service game. So as part of that plan, you know, there has to be a dedicated live service team that is kind of, you know, rolling out updates you know, as the game is live. So, you know, that has always been the plan in our roadmap, and nothing has changed. So, how do we plan on doing that? I guess we just need to plan on doing it. I guess we need to have internal processes in place, pipelines in place to make sure that we get, you know, content and assets delivered on time ahead of schedule, so that we have, you know, a smoother rollout as possible when it comes to the rest of the game updates. So yeah, I mean, you know, that's what we're planning on doing. Nothing has changed, you know, for that. So yeah.
All right, this next one was a pretty good question, but can we have some thoughts around the current Solana blockchain becoming cross-chain and whether or not we have plans of, say, moving, you know, the IDO to another chain or like other milestones to a different chain?
Yeah, it's probably like a bit premature to be talking about, you know, IDOing on other chains or whatnot. But I guess when it comes to Solana, yeah, again, I'm sure everyone is quite aware of what is going on in the Solana ecosystem at the moment, particularly around the whole implosion of FTX Alameda. That I guess now we can kind of retroactively speculate that a lot of the price action that Solana saw in Solana's summer was probably secondarily driven by all of this, you know, buying on FTX and Alameda side. So I guess it does call into question the organicness of it. Having said that, you know, nothing changes with the Solana tech. You know, it's not like that was a scam or you know, wasn't actually there or wasn't working. It is working. It has always worked and has always sort of been there to do the things that they're trying to do. And I know that they have a great community of builders that are constantly trying to, I guess, you know, problem solve and create new you know, value for that community. So I don't think that Solana is going away. I do think that, you know, they have definitely had the wind taken out of their sails by all of this news, and you know, this could be that, you know, I think I'm quite sure that early on in Ethereum's lifespan there was a major kind of FUD moment and setback, but you know, the developers and the community there kind of pulled together, and now it is what it is. So I definitely think that Solana can have a similar kind of moment when it comes to game development and what we prioritize. You know, we want to be able to, I guess, ensure the best user experience. So, you know, been talking internally, and I think what we really have to do is, I guess, look at the chains that will see the most likely success. And you know, we don't really know what that is, but I think if we pick, you know, 2 or 3 chains to kind of base our tech around, that should probably cover us. You know, Ethereum, I think is probably going to be a given that it has been around for the longest and is most likely the most decentralized and secure. And we'll probably have to look into some scaling solutions. And I know they have the zero knowledge roll-ups and whatnot coming out. So I think that is definitely something that we'll be looking into, and then maybe another one on top of that. But we're not going to be letting Solana go or anything like that. I think we'll just be looking to diversify our tech stack as a studio.
Like you said, we've always had in mind of keeping multi-chain in mind, and yeah, those are all like secure and viable options.
Yeah.
And here's like another question from the community: are you planning on making any staking or expeditions for Mech Guardians? And I know this is a past roadmap that was changed.
Yeah. So I don't know if that ever made it onto the roadmap officially, but I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about it. So I think it's an interesting question. I think what I guess looking into the past and looking at other projects and what has been done, I want to kind of provide a bit of context or my opinion as to what was happening. And basically, it kind of started with the first project saying, "Hey, we're gonna stake, and you're gonna get some tokens for it," and that was kind of cool, I guess. And what ended up happening was because someone did it in the market, there was this pressure for everyone to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like this whole thing with the FTX thing as well. It's like we can print our tokens and we can kind of mark them up on our balance sheet, and they saw other people doing it, so they went ahead and did it. And then other exchanges and other market makers, I know Mango Markets kind of did a very similar thing. And it's just like everyone in the industry just started doing the same thing. They started printing their own tokens, and then they started using their own tokens as a form of collateral for taking out further loans. And what we've seen is that just because everyone does something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. And I think now that things are starting to slow down, I think instead of just jumping on the bandwagon, it is a good time to be a little bit more thoughtful and a bit more purposeful with design decisions. So we're not going to roll back anything that we've already made, and we're not going to roll back any decisions that we've already made. But I think we're not going to be sort of doing any sort of staking or expeditions for Mech Guardians until such time as we've fully thought out the design implications of that decision and the long-term ramifications of that decision when it comes to the greater economy. Because right now, to be honest, we're still implementing core game systems. We're still implementing core game loop features. We haven't even dived into the ramifications of an open economy and how that all affects it. So I don't think it is wise to start implementing features before we know exactly how we intend on using them down the track. So yeah.
Better be cautious and just learn to design around things. And yeah, like you said, not to hop onto trends that may implode, or not everything that's new and shiny is good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of easy to get caught up in the hype and the whirlwind, and I must admit, it's easy even for me to fall prey to that. But I think if you never reflect on the decisions that you make and the reasons behind it, then you'll keep doing the same thing and you'll keep making the same mistake. And so now, whilst things are kind of down and sentiment is down, this is a really good time to self-reflect. And I can tell you, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection over the last few months about just a lot of things. So this happens to be one of them.
All right, sweet. The next one's a pretty fun one, but will Nyan Heroes be looking for partnerships within the streaming industry, or is that something the team is not actively pursuing due to the stigma of NFT gaming and let the gameplay drive the popularity?
Um, I mean, we'll definitely be looking for partnerships within the streaming industry when the time is right. I think that you know it's not a mutually exclusive sort of statement, right? It's like uh, you know just because you're a game that features blockchain or NFT doesn't mean that you have to let the gameplay only aspect drive the popularity and you can't leverage streamers. I think as long as the gameplay is good, and that's what at the end of the day our goal is, whether there is some feature of blockchain running in the back end that kind of ties user accounts to ownership of their assets or not, it doesn't really matter. I think at the end of the day, the point of streaming is to, I guess, get the community involved and get them excited about the product. And so the core product of a game is the gameplay, are the game loops. And so as long as they're exciting and they're fun and they're entertaining to watch, there's absolutely nothing wrong with engaging the streaming community. I don't think. We've seen it happen already in the sort of traditional world with Reddit, right? They just, instead of using NFTs, they just used avatars. And instead of using a wallet, they just called them vaults. But at the end of the day, it was nothing different. It was just a branding exercise. So I think, we'll definitely be sort of taking a leaf, using a branding exercise to kind of use more appropriate terminology. But at the end of the day, engaging streamers to play a fun game that's multiplayer and high octane, fast pace is never a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. The next question, before I open the floor up to some of the community members, is the community wants a follow up on the staking program and how much CTNP has been earned and if the program will continue. I do know that we allocated in the past up to $1.5 million over the lifetime of the expedition program, but maybe you can give more your statement on this.
Yeah, so like I said, what's been done has been done, and we're not going to be rolling back any decisions. So the CTMP staking program will continue as is. I asked Dope to give me the stats
Mm-hmm.
on the program, and so the current program has delivered uh, what is that number? It's 127 million 127.8 million catnip. That's a lot of catnip going around. And so I think the total amount of catnip allocated for that was 150 million catnip. So we're getting close. So I think at the very least, what we should do is we should continue the expeditions and staking expeditions until such time as we reach that 150 million cap. I think there was a stat that there was one particular owner with the most catnip. They have 8 million. Is that right? 8 million catnip.
8 million.
Yeah. So. No prizes to the person who guesses who that might be. Cough cough, might be Chris. I don't know. But seems to be that is the account with the highest amount of catnip. So I think we will definitely just continue that until we reach the 150 million catnip mark, and then we can reevaluate from there.
All right, awesome.
I don't know what the velocity of the catnip is at the moment. I'm guessing based on the numbers so far, it'll probably take it probably into Q2, either end of Q1 or Q2 next year, right? Until we reach that.
Yeah, I believe so. And I was surprised. There's a lot of people staking right now at the moment too. It's like
Mhm.
almost 7,500.
Yeah, and
That's a
it
lot.
it might end up tying in quite well anyway.
Mm-hmm.
As we try and move towards that sort of playable pre-alpha and then eventual alpha. Yeah, and so hopefully there'll be a use case for it very soon.
Yeah, I hope so too as well. But Anyways, that's some of the questions from the community. I'd like to open the floor up to anyone that wants to ask anything from Max or myself or the Nyan Heroes team. Take the time to bring up any live audience
Yeah.
members up here. So
I
if
mean,
you'd
it's
like to
the end
be
of
up
the
here,
year, guys. Feel free to, I mean, it doesn't have to be questions. I mean, you're free to ask whatever questions you want, and I'll do my best to answer. But it's the end of the year. It's like, I think it's the final town hall. If there's anything that you want to add, any learnings that you've had from 2022, any funny stories, we can just get up here and have a chat as well. Hey, what's up, Meko?
Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
so I just posted this question, but it was more regarding land since there hasn't been a really update around that. I was just wondering if it's going to be dynamic based on like the world state of the game, or it's just going to be like, here's this land and it's not really going to change and it's going to be your home base kind of thing. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's more like a design question around the implementation of land, right?
Mhm.
So this is something that we've been working on, I guess, on and off. We've got a small team, so we're pretty stretched on resources. But in terms of the land, this is something that we've been tying into the whole narrative of the story, and so the story, as we know it so far, is that the Nyans have sort of had to escape underground, and formed up their own colonies underground. And so this whole battle royale, the rationale behind it is that they've built their technology up underground in order to fashion these virtual reality sort of training grounds, and that's what the battle royale is. So when it comes to land, one of the ways that we wanted to incorporate them into the narrative is that the underground world is kind of like, we wanted it to be a bit of like this Matrix kind of moment where you don't know if it's real or not. Like, what is reality, and is it just a simulation? Is it just a projection? And ask that question, and well, without I mean, can give the spoilers. I mean, yes, it is a simulation in short, because the underworld obviously is devoid of light, is devoid of a lot of these things. But what ends up happening is that it becomes projected in this sort of virtual reality space. And so that is where the land kind of comes into play, because it's not very nice to own sort of derelict pieces of underground, light scarce land that's kind of just like rocks and minerals. So, we kind of wanted to tie it into the whole simulation thing and the virtual reality. So actually, when people own land, it's beautiful, and it's very sort of it's high fidelity. The buildings look great. You can see the sky, you can see nature and all these different sort of biomes, and it's a very vibrant kind of sort of space to live in. That's how we always saw the land. And only through time do people start to realize that, hey, there's actually something a bit more, I guess, a bit more beyond what you see. So in terms of the battle royale itself, that's going to be probably on its own segregated maps. They're not really going to change. And then in terms of the land that you have, that's going to be in the virtual world. It's the simulation that we've built. And so what you do in one game mode should be able to be translated into progression in the other game mode, and vice versa. And so as you make I guess, improvements or changes onto your land in the virtual space, then you should be able to see that reflected in the virtual space. But there won't be any reflection in, when it comes to the Battle Royale map.
Hope that answers your question, Michael.
Yeah, that does answer my question. And then I kind of like the follow up is, when are we going to get more information regarding the land when it comes closer?
Yeah. So I guess we kind of started working on it and then we ended up putting it on the back burner a little bit just because of the market conditions, obviously, one of the reasons, but also this thing next year with GDC kind of coming up as well. It was like, what were some of the priorities as a studio that we really needed to focus down on? And it just so happened that, given a limited time and also limited resources, that we chose to focus on more of the core game systems instead of the land element. So, updates in terms of land will probably be next year. I don't think we're going to have any, further updates before the end of the year. In terms of timing, it's really up in the air around when that will occur, because again, this is something that is just like a work in progress as well. So I'm kind of sharing some of the problems that I'm dealing with internally in my brain as well with you guys. So one of the issues is when we do eventually come out with the land, what is going to be the experience that people want to see out of it? Because it's very easy to do something like, hey, this is some land, and we don't have any visual assets for it. We don't have anything, but these are going to be the properties of the land, and you're going to get, for example, a lot of what people other studios will do is that give a land key or something, and it just looks like a key, and then eventually later on, you'll see what that land actually looks like. That's kind of a way to do things quicker, but is that the best experience? We don't know, and we still won't know exactly which method will be the best. I guess open to feedback as well. From into suggestions, right? It's like, okay, if at some point you were going to get land, how would you want that to be delivered? Would you want it to be this thing that kind of sits there as a image and a key for a set amount of time, and then later on, like after a few months, it gets revealed? Or would you want to see, that on day one?
Yeah,
So I mean, these are just like questions that we're still working through.
Yeah, definitely, and I see like the everyday progress of just continually asking ourselves questions. Does this make sense? Stuff like that. But I hope that answers your question, Micro.
It does. Thank you.
Thanks, Macro.
Thank you, Micro. Would anyone else like to hop onto the stage and ask a question before we do our closing statements? Give it a little bit of time, but all right. Oh wait, we got one.
If you have any cool, how you doing?
I'm not.
Really?
You hear me? Okay. Yeah, I'm using my in-ears at work, so I'm sneaking away. I was wondering, are any of you guys wearing the merch right now?
I am.
I'm drinking out of the mug.
I actually am. I don't know how I can prove it though, but I am.
Yeah, he always I
Just-
can attest. Max is always wearing the Nyan Heroes merch.
that is true.
I always see
Every
it.
single team meeting, I make it a point to get the camera on and rep the merch. So yeah, and I wear it on a daily basis. I don't know if this is sad or not, but I wear it on a daily basis.
He even
I'm
has
not
a
joking.
tattoo.
I've completely changed. Hey, well, I
I'm
mean,
just kidding.
I've completely changed my wardrobe just to be able to represent the merch as much as possible. So I am wearing it today.
Cool.
And I'm waiting for the new. I'm waiting for the new set as well. There's the. I don't know, because there's a few. This one was like the Genesis team merch, but there's that new set that we had on our website, the 9 Lives Club with the stick up bro. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that stick up bro cracks me up. So I got like 4 copies of him. So I'm waiting for that one.
Great. You can post a selfie in the chat if you want.
Yeah, man. Look, I don't want to scare off anybody, but I can post like a POV of the shirt. So you'll just see it sort of like upside down of where my face would be looking down at my shirt. I can do that.
Sure, that would be great, at least.
All right, that's good. Always verify. So.
I might have missed it in the early parts. I'm not sure if you addressed it already about the weekly play testing. Is there anyone doing great during those, like Derp? How are you during the matches?
Oh yeah, we have
Derp,
we have
did you plant this question, Dirt? Like, why did you make Willie ask this? Yeah, Derp is
I'm trying
doing
to
very
show-
well in our playtests.
Yeah,
Did you
we
plant
have
that question?
No, I did. I swear. Okay, yeah, we have like a team play test weekly, and I'm kicking everyone's ass, because
He's doing very well. He's done well to the point that now when we are organizing like
they're all trying to aim for me.
yeah, we're trying to team up, but he's also helping us a lot with the video like demo reels and stuff.
I should have some sick clips of our playtest, but I don't think I can share it. But just me wrecking them. Especially Nayef, I gotta call out Nayef.
Yeah, no, he's doing well.
Yeah, would be great to see any footage of it in due time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited for
definitely.
when the open alpha rolls up next year, and when people can sign up. You can sign up and line up to get your butts kicked by me. I'm ready for the community. All right, sweet. I think that's the last topic that we can hop on before I make these closing statements. But I just want to notify community and just kind of remind them that just watch out and be vigilant out there, because there are always bad actors in the community or in the ecosystem of Web3 and crypto. People are continually looking to scam people or impersonate them, and I just want to bring up that Hui, our marketing director, our marketing lead, as well as myself, has been a target of these impersonations. So there are fake people, or there are impersonators out there acting as us and just contacting content creators and people out there pretending to be us, sending contract like legit. They're taking time to create fake contracts for these people to sign, and then they send them like a test build, even though we don't really have a test, like a public test build out there or private one. And they just it just you gotta be careful out there, because there's all sorts of ways that people are trying to get their hooks into you and just like reel you in. So I want to stay safe out there for Christmas, for the winter, and I really appreciate the community that's been sticking with us and staying strong and just continually supporting us, our team at Nyan Heroes. And I want to thank the developers and our team for working so hard through the past year and into the next year. So
yeah, thanks, Dope. Yeah, definitely be careful out there. I want to make a quick reference to general Nyan chat. I posted my current shirt that I'm wearing, proof that I rep the merch daily. Apologies for the cat hair. This is literally I just looked down and took a picture with my phone. So yeah.
So is that included? Like, if we buy merch, will it include cat hair on it too? And make it more authentic. Do you rub a cat on it before you send it? That should be a thing.
Yeah, I feel bad for the cat, but maybe. Yeah, proof of cat. That's true.
Anyways, thank you so much, Max, for coming to the town hall, and I wish you have a great holiday, and I'm looking forward to all the things that we'll be doing in the next year.
Yeah, thanks, Derp. Thanks for hosting. Thanks everyone for being here as well. Happy holidays to you guys as well. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and yeah, look forward to seeing you guys in 2023.
All right, sweet. See you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.